What's up guys, it's the Devil's Talon here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at how you can improve your W King and endgame by analyzing one of the best players in EU, and that is Vadeal. But before I get into this VOD review guys, if you do enjoy my content or find what I'm telling you helpful, please drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on post notifications. But without further ado, let's just jump right in. Alright guys, we're going to be taking a look at Vadeal today. This is going to be his first game from the solo cash cup. As you can see in this feed right here, 26 kill win, an absolutely W King clinic. We're going to be taking a look at both of his victory royales today. So again, the W King early on, and then the more placement style, methodical type of gameplay that you would expect towards the ends of stacked cash cups. Let's take a look. He's landing sweaty sands. You're going to see this opponent on the wall, breaking through. He decides to only take one mini. Only hits 29 with his purple charge, but charge again so strong. This is an immediate off-spawn fight. Not too much to talk about, but you're going to see him kind of abuse this good loot early on. He actually keeps the shotgun throughout. So you're going to see him get into more quick engagements here on opponents that don't have shield. There isn't too much to say for other than good landing. He landed through a window, so good knowledge of drop spot. 86, and then the opponent is pretty much shambles. Gets the pickup of mats. This opponent is extremely weak as well. Gets some nice taps right here. Good cone right here. Good attempt at piece control. Gets the back walls, and then kind of 50-50s because he knows the opponent is weak. And the piece control there being huge. Wasn't the best example of piece control. We'll see a lot better examples throughout. But let's kind of skip on forward to the next couple engagements because it's not super duper fast. All right, he hears this opponent down on low ground. He's playing angles with his charge. You have to really respect the power of the charge. This is going to be an excellent example of avoiding tunnel vision. And so tunnel vision, he's getting too focused on opponent. You hear him... You hear that door open crack. He goes and cracks this opponent, and the other opponent overcommits. He Metro Classics in, and then ends the fight fast. Then, he makes a good read on this particular opponent using that purple charge. Such good power loot, and we're off to a quick 5 kills. We're going to take a look at these two engagements early on, because it's a good example of basic mechanics, but not having tunnel vision. So tunnel vision is, again, focusing too much on the opponent. Oops. Sorry, we're gonna go back just a tad. All right, sorry for the audio that does sound a little bit strange. Sitting up on a right-hand peak right, maybe pre-firing. Builds a full box because he hears that other opponent. You hear that door creep open. He basically traps this guy, preventing him to edit. Good, immediately makes an edit, it crouches. The opponent swings on a wall. He cracks, resets. He already has the ramp there, so he jumps in, Metro Classics. He gets the wall, or the ramp, for piece control and ends the fight. And so now, again, he can now focus on this 101. He reads the opponent editing, gets a huge crack. It's a really open edit, allows him to get his crosshair right on the opponent, and that's a GG's. A quick 5 kills, thanks to some good RNG and good avoidance of tunnel vision. So a great start for Vadeal. We're going to now see some excellent mid-game W King all around the tilted area. Nothing less to expect with all the movement there, that there's going to be a ton of people. Oh my goodness. I don't actually see what ended up happening there, because we're going to see him take a crystal, and he's going to be chasing this opponent in the car. And I believe he actually hops in the car, which is going to be something I haven't seen in a VOD review in a while. Opponent has no idea. Fries him. Tries to get the piece control there. Does not get it. He's getting third party. Good example of piece control right there. Getting the front wall and then the cone catching him. GG's. Ends that fight fast. Sees an opponent standing still. Good pre-fight damage, 33. Little thing, right? Nuance thing he does right there. He places that ramp to basically see where his opponent's going, and then he can see what he can do. Good attempt at shooting down. The opponent is on a crystal as well, so is going to be able to kind of go away. He is getting some minis. Good cone slides. Oh, this is so good. Right? Let's just take a look at this preemptive piece control, or this, what I like to call a pre-box. So pre-box is predicting where your opponent is going to go, and then making where you have the piece control. So he gets a cone slide through. Now he's directly on the wall, so it's more of a 50-50. He cracks, but Vadeal's camets are great. He gets the wall, and notice the opponent's going to the left. So what does Vadeal do? He pre-boxes. He realizes his opponent's going to left. He already has this front wall, so all he has to do is get piece control. He gets back wall. The opponent basically ramps up into it. So he has nowhere to edit out. The only way he can go is back through his previous edit. Well, Vadeal already has that, so he just jumps in the box, and boom. The opponent has absolutely no chance of doing anything, because that actually was Vadeal's wall, because he reset it after the shot. So really, really good stuff. Now, the W King doesn't start here. Obviously, with being near all of this mobility, you're going to see a significant amount of players in this area rotating in with crystals and sand, whatever you want to see, and Vadeal also being able to rotate through. I'm not going to skip too far ahead. Maybe I can get a little bit ahead so we don't sit at him crystal forever, but he ends up getting a quick succession of around 3 frags. Gets some pre-fight damage. This opponent kind of tags him a little bit. We don't get to see too much because of replay bug. Good crack. Immediately on a right-hand peek. Right there, right? Using the crystal exploit, getting the wall one tap, and essentially Metro classicing with a crystal, or using the phase technique to accelerate through, and then good aim ends that fight extremely fast. Now you're going to see Vadeal see this opponent in the distance in Storm. Vadeal having 6 splashes and a Slurpfish, not concerned with tanking zone, especially in a 1-tick. Opponent tries to snipe. He's using the mobility as well. Sets a right-hand peek with protection, and a good word of advice. I'm just going to state, if you're that opponent sitting in that box and someone's holding a charge on you, please don't make a window edit, because you're going to go back to the lobby, especially with a purple charge. And so that's just a good word of advice. That's not very smart to do. If someone's holding a charge on you, don't make the edit. The charge is such a good defensive weapon. It's really, really good. Sprays through, gets the piece control, misses. Now things become a little bit scuffed, so he decides to go out. We have replay bug. He's spraying in, not getting what he wants. Good peanut butter teeth, doesn't get it. Only hits for 33. He eats the fish real quickly. Misses, and then pre-boxes, right? Boom. Another example of what pre-boxing is so good for you. It ends fights fast, which is basically the holy grail of W King. Let's just take a quick look at this particular pre-box here, just because he's used it throughout. So he sees his opponent. He only hits him for 33. Good thing he has an escape plan to get up and out. Good quick reaction time. Decides to full box and get a quick Slurpfish off. He has this front wall, which he knows. He gets the back wall. He actually ends up shooting it out, but he pre-boxes to the left, and he gets the cone being the most important, because it keeps him on that same layer and then allows him to end the fight quickly. And then we're going to fast forward to the next portion of the W King Clinic that Vadeal is going to put on for the rest of this match. Right now we're at a easy 10 kills. Don't worry, he's going to more than double this. We get kind of more of a box fight. Based on his characters, this might be an Asia player. Okay, and just to talk about really good angles to... We can just talk about it. Why not, right? We're here to learn. Let's take... I didn't mean to skip forward. I apologize. We're going to take a little bit back. So... He now sees that this opponent's there. This person, obviously, more than likely, maybe an Asia player, doesn't have the best ping. But notice he's setting up on a right-hand peek, right? A safe peek. And he pickaxe baits, right? He's waiting for his opponent to make an edit, and so he can get some damage, but the opponent doesn't make an edit, so then now the wall is one tap. He immediately edits through with the blueprints to establish the cone slide, and then gets a nice wide edit, which isn't that bad in a situation. Why? Why is it not bad for the situation? The opponent has a tac shotgun, is not going to be able to one-pump this opponent. Pumps are not in the game. 2, he has already established pre-fight damage. He's already cracked him for around 70, so he can be confident that 200 versus a max of 130 that he's probably going to win with making that wide edit. It just allows him to be able to visualize his opponent a lot better than making just a Dorito edit on the bottom half. That's what you see a lot of these EU pros do, especially Noah Riley, Vadeal, Tayson. They make these nice wide open edits when they have significant health advantage to thus end the fights quickly. Let's just jump into the next one. Full speed ahead. We're going to jump back a little bit more because there's a little bit more to this, so I apologize. Gets a Conan with a phase Conan. Good attempt at piece control. Another wide edit. Immediately gets on a right-hand peek. Notice building walls to cover himself. Trying to predict where he's going to go. This opponent's doing a decent job of running away and wasting time. But he eventually gets a right-hand peek and gets, again, noticing the wide edit on an opponent that he has significant health advantage on. And that ends the fight quickly. There, let's move back a little bit more. This fight is actually probably one of the not best engagements from Vadeal. Let's see if I can... Now, he's in a particular long build fight with this opponent. He's using a lot of mats, taking a lot of time. He does get the full box here. Tries to get the cone. The guy doesn't get it. He sprays through and gets the ramp. The opponent just simply edits down. Cracks. And then ends the fight. GG's. Does a good job. Once getting that full box and then good pressure. Now you're going to see him. We're going to pretty much just leave the VOD the way it is for the rest. Because I feel like most of the kills are in succession. We may skip to the end part. I'm not too sure yet. Going on old refreshes. We're at a quick 13 kills. He's going to double this amount. This opponent tries to rant on him. Beautiful shot. Using the phase ramp technique that we've seen from Noah Riley, EU. Full box. Very, very fortunate that the opponent didn't hit him harder. But again, he was 200 health. So again, can afford to make that back edit. And then go in, be a little less angle, a little more aggressive because he already has hit that one crack. Got to be confident that you're going to survive that. A good example of piece control. Now you're going to see a little aim assist in his bones. 49, 49, 33 G's to that man. Now there's no particular... He ends up getting sniped here. I'll just give you the rundown. He smartly gets his minis off, and instead of using his splashes, he goes back and gets the big. But let's just move on to the next portion of this VOD. He's now chasing this opponent. You're going to see an excellent job of what good pressure looks like in this. I'm going to move it back just a tad. I want to see it from the very beginning. I wish it was a little bit more when you click the button, particularly. So it's kind of like for solos why I like doing actual POVs. He gets a nice little crack. Cone slide. Only hits for 34. And then you're going to see good edit flow and good pressure. Using the bouncer. Full boxing, protecting. Just moving through build so fluidly, and this allows him to just take this pressure. He's one pickaxing everything, and then the back wall. He misses the shot, but doesn't matter. Opponent's so weak, he has all the piece control. Opponent is lost like a flopper. Really, really good stuff. Good example of edit flow and constant pressure. Basically never letting up. This is kind of, again, a W King type decision to go from a good position on high ground to low ground. Now you're going to see him get cone slide control here. He realizes he's taking damage, so he goes to a different side of the wall. Really smart. He makes wide edit, which sometimes can get you in trouble. He gets third priority as well. I think in that situation, he could have probably stayed a little bit more to the left and played more of an angle. But since he was on the wall, he wanted a wide peek. He thought this opponent was maybe weaker than what he was. Good read, good crosshair placement. And then once the guy shoots, he makes the edit. Timing on that edit crucial to end that fight quickly. And now Vadeal is back to his W King ways. You're going to see him kind of make an absolute psychopath play here in a second, but it's going to pay off, and it's going to just show you the confidence when you're having one of these humongously high kill games. He's at 17 kills going in. There's still 13 other players in the lobby, and he's going to kill more than half of them. He ends up just taking a minute for 9 HP here. Now this opponent, he's doing kind of a quick start. He bounces to them, and this opponent is caught off pretty much so off guard. He gets a nice little refresh, some siphon. Gets a kid sitting in a bush. I don't know what that guy's doing. Cracks this opponent and finishes that. This is an insanely fast 3 kills. And it just, the pace never stops. He's catching people off guard. He's catching people samples. Again, notice the phase ramp technique. Now, what I love about this, he doesn't overcommit here. He says, I don't want to sit here and box fight you. I want to go look for more kills. Some bad aim right here actually prevents him from getting a kill he probably should have had. We're going to see replay bug here. Cracks this opponent that's kind of playing around on the low ground. He's even going in storm in a 10 tick, but doesn't care. Not caring about positioning, right? This is all W king. We're chilling on walls. Cracks this opponent to 1 HP. This is the one that was fried from earlier. Good pace, edit flow. This guy's doing a good job of trying to run away. This is really, really scuffed for Vadeal. He's using a lot of mats to chase this opponent. Again, not the smartest decision, right? In terms of methodical gameplay, but this is W King. He doesn't care. He's trying to get as many kills as possible. Oh, that guy was so fortunate that he ended up not dying. And then everyone is bouncing down from height. Everyone did it early, so it gave Vadeal free height. Now, I'm just going to talk about something here. Why didn't he want to bouncer from that level of elevation? Because more than likely, anyone that's sitting here looking back is going to fry him. So what does he do? He drops down a bunch of levels of elevation and then bouncers, so he's closer to build, so he can connect sooner and avoid taking damage. Really smart, little small nuanced play, but it's very, very, very effective to make sure he prevents from dying, especially only being at 128 health. He couldn't afford to get fried from the top. Anyone that's sitting there looking, because you have a scar, he's pretty much dead to anyone that has aim assist or relatively even decent aim. That's a small little nuance thing, and it's important. It got him to those other builds faster. And then this kill actually gets yoinked. I don't know how. He doesn't end up getting that kill. Someone ends up frying him off. And you're going to see how powerful a scar on height is. Vadeal is really, really going to show that aspect. Here, decides to eat a flopper because he has 6. And that's kind of the thing sometimes with bouncers, right? If you're not aware while you're bouncering, you're going to get fried. Vadeal having a lot... Same type deal. Again, just not being really smart and protective of your bouncers. A scar on height is so, so powerful. And he gets a kill right there with fall damage from all of this really, really good aim. This is really, really good. I love him not committing to that just because zone's moving. See him putting 70 more damage, and then the guy ends up RPGing himself, which I didn't notice before. LOL. Now, this guy at bottom is going to do some low ground frying. But, again, Vadeal has... all the floppers in the world bouncers. His mats aren't the best, just from the amount of time he spent chasing W King. He takes kind of a blue battle on low ground and actually kind of loses it, to be honest. Eats 88 damage. The other guy also fries. Now, this opponent makes an edit on the charge, but he didn't really have a choice. And you're going to see, unfortunately, Vadeal gets dropped down as well. He has only a little bit of builds, but fortunately, it goes up a mountain. This guy, he gets the 1 tack of damage and then just plays safe. And is going to get his white heels off. GG's an absolutely insane 26 kill game to start off the Cash Cup. Let's take a look at his other win in a much more stacked lobby with better players, which ends up resulting in him in a 2nd place. Alright guys, we're going to be in Vadeal's 2nd game, his 2nd victory royale of the Cash Cup. This is going to be in a much more stacked environment with much better players. Towards the end of the Cash Cup, he's going to get an 8-kill victory royale. And as you can see, a lot different. Only 1 early game frag, 1 mid game frag, and then 6 end game frags. We're going to take a look at each individual engagement, and then we're going to watch from moving zones on to see how Vadeal rotates, and we're going to see how he picks up his eliminations that ultimately allow him to dominate the end game and win pretty much flawlessly, is what I would call it, just the way that it turned out. But let's look at this early game fight. Off spawn, he misses a snipe on this particular opponent. He's looking around for third parties, kind of seeing if anyone going to come and get this fight quickly. Trying the phase ramp technique there, does not get it there. Trying to get cones off. Slowly, methodically. Gets a nice little crack, full box. This is such a good job by Vadeal right here to do what he does here to basically make sure he doesn't get traded out with this opponent. what you're going to see him do after we can kind of rewatch what he does here once he starts getting into the build fight. Doesn't get that front wall. The opponent kind of sitting there. You see he does get that cone there. He gets the cone above him to protect. He flips the ramp both ways. Realizes his opponent's right there. He gets a crack, and then he full boxes. And the opponent cracks for 126. And I feel like he basically makes it think the opponent tries to free fire Vadeal. He may have made a mouse movement to make him think, but he shoots out the ramp, and then Vadeal ends the fight fast. Really great way to start off this particular engagement. Let's get into the mid-game one, because you're going to see as why he went for this particular key, and you're going to see why Vadeal is one of the best fighters in the game. In this particular key, there's going to be a couple of reasons as to why he goes for this particular engagement. Now, one, obviously he has no knowledge, but I can tell you just based on where he's on the map that he's going to be on dead side. He's on the left side of Sweaty Sands, so most POIs are to the right. And then he has pretty clear LOS that no one is really around him. And he sees this opponent boxed up at brick. So he thinks, okay, this is a good time to go for a key. Here's the other thing. Zone comes in, and look, it's right on him. So he does not have to worry about rotation in third zone. So this is basically saying, okay, I can get a nice mid-game frag, get more bouncers, basically because my loot is also insane. I have a lot of heals. I could get a refresh on anything I need, which the only thing he probably needs is a little more bouncers. We're going to watch this particular engagement because he literally just hops right on like it isn't a stacked game with some of the best players in the world. Tries to get some piece control there. Opponent takes a pepper and then tries to disengage. Opponent does get a little bit of crack, and now Vadeal is down his splashes. He tries to pre-fire that, but does not work out. Now you're going to see a nice little cheeky ramp flip. He edits here and then places the ramp for protection. Nice and slow and methodical, not cranking out fancy retakes right here. Always protecting himself. Good reload management, making sure his shotgun's reloaded before he starts. Beautiful right here. This opponent gets cone, wall, and gets the floor, and now he's boxed like an absolute fish. Cone slide, misses the shot. Wide open timing. Peanut butter, good movement to the left, and then cracks. This is really, really slow, methodical, not over aggressive. He took only the first tack shot. He got to save most of everything. This guy was stacked. He had floppers, slurp fishes. He even had peppers. So let's just take a look as to how Vadeal ended that fight without taking pretty much any damage. Let's see how it goes. He sees his opponent jump to the left. He gets the front wall. He gets that wall in front of. This is kind of awkward because it's a left-hand peek. He cone slides him, gets him caught. Gets wall, and then really importantly gets the floor because the opponent's trying to edit that. Doesn't get there. And then an opponent is trying to hold. He's trying to do anything he can. Vadeal misses. Catches him with his pickaxe out. Crack on that really, really wide edit. It's just really good for damage because not a lot of opponents expect it. He holds his wall. Ducks to the left. Doesn't peanut butter really. Lets the opponent kind of make the movement. The opponent does get the wall. But he edits out through because that's really his only play. But he has nowhere. Look at all these pieces that control. Vadeal controls this, and this. He controls pretty much everything. The opponent only controlled that front wall. He tries to escape. Not going to happen. And flawless. And look, he gets more floppers, more slurpfish. And this is going to set him up to have a really great end game where he wins with even a ton of materials to spare. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably do it from right here. I like doing this in moving zones. We start our rotation going into first moving zone. Notice immediately where he's going. He first recycles a bouncer and he's staying on this dead side, right? Look at the congestion on this side as opposed to the congestion on this side. He's clearly on the better side of zone. Okay, as you can see, look, this is where the most of the lobby is. There's a handful of players here. It gives him a lot of space to work with. He sprays through. This guy jumps on him and then places a bouncer. And then, again, him being on a pepper, the guy's just nothing he could do. Look at this rotation again. So good. Why is it so good? Again, he's using that dead side. Good crack. Cone slide. Gets the front wall. Excellent pickup in the middle. He's now gotten another refresh. Even though he didn't really need it. He just caught him. He bounces up because he realizes it's on elevation. Good layer change. Doesn't go on the same layer. He gets away from that guy right there. Bullies this guy off his lair, preventing him from drop down. He was building in wood anyways. So now we're still at 5 bouncers, 117 mats, tons of utility. We are looking mighty good for this end game. Notice he's gonna then bouncer, and it sends him into storm. But where does it send him? Look, he's on a hugging zone side. And he's playing ultimate low, but it's okay. All he has to do is cover his back. What it's going to do is prevent him from building walls on the left because he doesn't need to, because no one's going to be shooting him from there. What does this do? Allows him to save materials. Eats a slurp fish right there. Big important from that early mid-game pickup. And then he just plays ahead. He gets another little mini refresh of bouncers and all that from an opponent who's low ground. The little layer switch. Why the little layer switch? Because he's going up a hill. He wants to be able to place his builds fully. So a little tiny layer switch. He's not playing on super scuffed layers. He's playing ultimate low. Now he's covering his left side because the zone is pulling that way. But staying ahead. Notice the zone's in front of him as well. Gets tagged for a little bit here. Sees a guy taking a bid. Sees another opponent cycle in, so he knows there's no point. He's kind of sitting here. He has a nice little tarp with space. 87 builds to spare. Still 5 fish as well. 5 bouncers. You're going to see him get scuffed on a bouncer that doesn't work. Then he immediately gets ahead. Creates a lot of space. Uses the slurp fish. And then going up elevation. So what is he doing? Gets a nice little one crack. Beautiful crack and aim right there on 2 people cycling in. He's now gotten 2 refreshes on 2 people cycling in. And notice preference for lever over tack. So for him, I believe it is charge, lever, tack. He's got a lot of space to spare. And again, notice getting to that dead side. Zones right here on his left, allowing him to just conserve his materials. And these guys are really good. We have Skite and Snappy in this end game. Now he's going to try and shoot this opponent out because he more than likely is going to outmat him at 55. Good recognition. What he's going to end up doing is get everything weak. And he's going to edit everything down. And then he lands on the ground and just aim assist him out of the air, even though he doesn't have aim assist. The opponent had to place a bouncer to make sure he didn't take fall damage. But again, just excellent. And notice 46 builds left to play, 4 floppers, 4 bouncers, and he wins the match handedly. So easy. Incredibly impressive overall VOD review. W keying early on, and then advanced rotational knowledge later on when the games are more stacked against much better players. And again, convincingly dominant wins in both games, and that's how you place higher in the Solo Cash Cup.